Hello! I don't know how to start this video. Whatever! We're talking about SpongeBob! Hooray! Yay! I've been wanting to make a SpongeBob like vlog or whatever, but there's so much to SpongeBob. Can't decide on one topic. Luckily, Nickelodeon decided the topic for me because they decided to make a sequel episode today of an episode from a classic episode of the first 3 seasons, Frankendoodle. It was an episode where SpongeBob got a magic pencil from an artist of the sea, and he used it to create a doodle of himself that turned evil. And yeah, it's a really good episode. Yeah, it's honestly one of the most interesting SpongeBob episodes when you think about it, because I love it whenever it just a show creates something that's really cool concept, but actually has rules to it that the show follows. That's one of the reasons why Ben 10, I just love it so much, because it creates the Omnitrix, and it does a bunch of fun things with the Omnitrix, but there are rules to the Omnitrix. And sometimes those rules are broken, and those are usually the best episodes of the old Ben 10, but the newer shows don't really follow those rules as much anymore. So it kind of makes the show just feel not as special. And honestly, that's kind of the same way I would sum up this new episode of SpongeBob. But anyway, yeah. So the old episode, Frankendoodle, it was a very, very good episode. Yeah, so obviously, the title of the episode implies, kind of like Dr. Frankenstein, SpongeBob creates life. But just like Frankenstein, the life did something he didn't expect. Like, Dr. Frankenstein didn't really know what he was going to do after he created life. He just wanted to create life. And SpongeBob, he just wanted to draw a picture of himself just to prank Squidward. And he didn't know what it was going to do after the prank. And everything went horribly wrong. And I redrew that scene from the episode today. Whoa, look at that. Whoa. I draw SpongeBob a lot. I'm a big fan of SpongeBob. Anyway, so yeah, Doodlebob was always a cool character, and out of all the episodes from the old show, I think the old it's still the same show technically, but you know what I mean. SpongeBob Classic. This was a great episode that kind of deserved a sequel. And it's just kind of surprising that it took so many years for it to actually get a sequel in the show itself. There has been, Doodlebob has been used in tons of SpongeBob merchandise and video games, and, he's gotten sequels in terms of, storybooks and, video games, but we never got a sequel episode until today, that is. And, yeah, this new episode, Doodle Dimension, is the return of Doodlebob, which is really cool. And the original episode just did do a good job of not only concluding its story, but it did kind of leave some room for a potential sequel. And this episode doesn't really follow that, but. Anyway, for those who haven't seen the original episode, what were you doing in the early 2000s then? But, yeah, the original episode, SpongeBob got a magic pencil from the sky, and and allowed him to create drawings that comes to life, and it was a really cool episode. And, yeah, then after he creates a doodle version of himself, the Evil Doodle, Doodlebob, whatever his name is, he then goes around, attacks people, And it's just causing a bunch of chaos, and it's a really fun episode. And then once when they think, oh, we've gotten rid of the Doodle, he's gone forever. Oh no, his arm was left behind. And then he gets the magic pencil from SpongeBob, who was completely abusing it, decorating his entire house, and doing something you in real life would totally do if you got a magic pencil. And yeah, SpongeBob at this point is completely fallen in love with the pencil. Yeah, and then of course his creation Doodlebob comes and takes it away from him. And then we start seeing like the magic eraser be used, and it's also really cool because it can erase real life objects. I just love that. Like, okay, like the entire episode we've just been seeing pencil be used to draw, but then here at the end we see it being used to erase stuff, which is cool. And yeah, it's a really cool episode. It's got some fun animation for TV show standards, of course, and yeah. And then the episode ended with like Doodlebob, like the episode kind of ends with like the magic pencil being broken in half, and Doodlebob uses his mouth as a pencil sharpener to sharpen the pencil, and then SpongeBob loses the other half. And I kind of thought, like, and the other half of the pencil didn't show up again. So one thing I was thinking about the last time I watched it was, like, what if, like, SpongeBob found that, broke the other half of the pencil, and that's how the episode starts. And then, like, Doodlebob is then actually defeated whenever, like, he steps on a piece of paper, and then SpongeBob traps him inside of the paper and hangs him on his wall. And now Doodlebob was happy because he was in the two-dimensional world where he belonged. And it was a very interesting ending to the episode. And then, like, SpongeBob sends the magic pencil back where it came from, up above the sea, and then the artist of the sea got his pencil back, and then, oh no, the pencil broke, and that's where the episode ends. Yeah, me and Jeremy talked for an hour the other day about, like, what could they do for the sequel episode, and also, by the way, the sequel episode was confirmed exactly 1 year and 2 days ago, according to the SpongeBob Wiki. So, I've known about this episode for a year, that the sequel episode was coming, and so I obviously have had a year to speculate, because I'm a huge SpongeBob fan, so obviously I've been looking forward to this episode. And, yeah, it was a SpongeBob episode. It was an alright episode, but obviously, this is not exactly the sequel I've been waiting for. Like, first of all, I thought this was going to be a 22-minute special. Nope, it's just a normal episode. Okay, then. And, like, I suppose, like, one of the SpongeBob video games actually follows up the original episode as a direct sequel. I should probably look up some more, like, SpongeBob video game, like, long plays or whatever, or, like, the Draw to Life game, whatever. But, yeah. Like, again, like, this is an episode that should have probably happened years ago. Again, like, merchandise loved Doodlebob, and, yeah, I'm pretty sure the first Nicktoons Unite game even had an attack for SpongeBob where he threw a paper airplane and then it turned into Doodlebob. It's funny. And yeah, this is an episode long coming, and yeah, it was alright. I thought it was kind of funny. Obviously, I'm not going to say it was better than the first episode. No. Going into this episode, I knew from the very beginning it was not going to be as good as the first one. That's obvious. Like, and it's definitely a better episode than what another SpongeBob, classic SpongeBob episode that got a sequel a few years ago, Bubble Buddy Returns. That episode No, that is not. Oh, oh my gosh, Bubble Buddy Returns is just not the sequel anyone wanted. This episode though, Doodle Dimension, I mean, this is one of those episodes where if you've never even seen a single episode of SpongeBob, you could have watched it and enjoyed it. It's one of those episodes, you know. It's not really a direct sequel. It's just I don't know. But I will say this episode did feel like it was still for longtime SpongeBob fans. Kind of. I felt like there was a ton of references to older episodes, which, you know, at the same time, I could just be imagining all of it. But yeah, anyway. So the episode starts with SpongeBob and Patrick going to visit Sandy, who wasn't in the original episode, which immediately struck me as odd. It was like, okay, this is not where I wanted the episode to start. Like, this is honestly, I would, again, I like this episode, but obviously if I wrote it, it would not be the same episode. It'd be a completely different episode, kind of. There was some things I predicted, and I got right about the episode, which I'll get into later. But anyway, SpongeBob and Patrick go and visit Sandy, and Sandy built into alternate universe traveling portal because she's all about science in the newer episodes. Science. Yeah, and when they go visit Sandy, they also brought a balloon with them. And it was, this, they made sure to the audience that, yes, both SpongeBob and Patrick owned this balloon. So, you know, if they popped the balloon, you know. I definitely feel like this is, not a super intentional callback, but at the same time, at some point after they wrote the joke, they were like, oh yeah, one time SpongeBob and Patrick did get themselves another balloon. And yeah, this is just, it's like a kind of sort of callback, but not really. It's weird that way. But yeah, Sandy's alternate universe portal, eventually SpongeBob and Patrick play around with it and go through it, and they end up in the, I guess, Doodle Dimension. And I was hoping that this portal would specifically bring them to the two-dimensional universe where SpongeBob trapped Doodlebob in, but nope. Instead, it's more like the White Void universe that Squidward was trapped in the episode SB129, whenever Squidward was playing with the time travel elevator thing, and he ended up in this White Void. And yeah, they specifically called back to how you can't get out of there. If you run around, you'll just end up in the same place over and over again, which, you know. Anyway, yeah, and then they all get super worried already, and it's like, I miss Sandy, I miss Squidward, I miss Mr. Krabs, and you know who I miss the most, SpongeBob? I miss SpongeBob! And so then Patrick, I don't. Well, before that, whenever SpongeBob and Patrick were running around, SpongeBob made some skid marks with his shoes, and those drawings came to life. So basically, now the magic pencil rules applies to this entire dimension. So any pencil is magic in this dimension, I guess. And then SpongeBob pulls out the giant pencil out of his ear from the old episode, but they never call it the magic pencil. But you know, it's the same pencil. It's weird. This is just kind of a thing now with the modern SpongeBob episodes, where SpongeBob will just randomly pull something out of his ear, and he just stores everything inside of himself now. Okay, whatever. So yeah, then Patrick grabs the pencil and when he's like, "I'm a SpongeBob," and then he draws Doodlebob. And yeah, Doodlebob is all like, so yeah, then they try to hug Doodlebob, and Doodlebob ends up on Patrick, and blah 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 blah. A bunch of jokes happen. Anyway, let's get into the stuff I did predict. So I predicted, one of my predictions was that like Doodlebob would have use this alternate universe to create his own doodle version of Bikini Bottom. And in the episode, we do see like SpongeBob use the magic pencil powers to recreate his home, Patrick's home, Squidward's home. So he recreates the street, and like over the course of the episode, they're also like recreating all of SpongeBob's friends and stuff, doodle versions of all of them. So like now Doodlebob has his own Doodle Sandy and Doodle Patrick to hang out with, and Doodle Squidward and Doodle Mr. Krabs. And yeah, it's fine. I really wish though that whenever they did Doodle Squidward, it'd be the one from the original episode where like Patrick drew a rock thing that looked like a jellyfish, but it was like, it's Squidward. Like, I was also hoping that they would bring back the hairpiece, which they do eventually draw a Doodle mustache on one of the other Doodle duplicates. I don't remember which one. And yeah, that was fun. So yeah, if there's anything I didn't manage to predict about the episode, is that they kind of tried to recreate Bikini Bottom a little bit in the Doodleverse. Whatever. And yeah, it was a funny episode. There was a lot of funny jokes. Not all of them are hilarious. And then, of course, by the end of the episode, I was like, what, that's it already? I thought this was just going to be a 22-minute episode, but it was just an 11-minute episode. And yeah, they do some funny jokes and stuff, and yeah. So I can't really say the episode was disappointing. Like, obviously, I would have wanted, like, a Doodlebob movie or whatever. Like, a movie dedicated to like a movie, I don't know. Whatever. It was a good episode. Go watch it. It was good. But not as good as the recent Halloween special. Watch the new Halloween special from last year. Like SpongeBob Legends of Bikini Bottom. That was one of the best SpongeBob episodes in years. Watch that one. I don't care if it's March. Watch that episode right now. And yeah, then give Doodle Dimension a shot. Obviously, if you haven't seen like SpongeBob at all, just put on the SpongeBob SquarePants movie. You'll like it. Anyway, yeah. I guess that's it, guys. Bye.